Farage refuses to criticise Trump over the paracetamol despite experts dismissing the autism claim. I'm going to read into this from The Guardian, you guys. So it says that the Reform UK leader said he has no idea if the US president is right to tell women to avoid a drug during pregnancy. So Nigel Farage is literally desperate to avoid giving any and all criticism of the US president. He doesn't want to be seen to be against Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form. And this is his way of, rather than sticking with common sense, he's dodging the question. And the problem is, and I have a big problem with him doing this, is that he knows, and you should know, that there is no connection whatsoever between paracetamol and autism. It was only one research on it, and that research was debunked. And there was very false claims on that. The vast majority of doctors, scientists, medical experts have said that there is no link between paracetamol and autism. Okay, there is none. Okay. The problem is that because it's come out of the mouth of the President of the United States, people in America will believe it. And unfortunately, here in the UK, and whether you rightfully or wrongly believe, whether it's rightly or wrongly, there is a great disdain of distrust among politicians. And while I praised the Health Secretary Wes Streeting for standing up and saying that what Trump is saying is wrong, no, you should take there's nothing wrong with paracetamol. Listen to the doctors and listen to the medical experts, because if you don't listen to medical experts, it can be literally a case of life and death for you. Yeah, doctors know better about health than you do. Like, that's just a fundamental fact here. Donald Trump does not know this stuff. He's a health secretary guy. He does not know what he is talking about either. And I can assure you that many Americans are going to die as a direct result of actions and consequences that they're going to be taking. But back here in the UK, like I was saying, with regards to politicians and distrust that's happening here, the fact that Nigel Farage is somebody that many people listen to very carefully and take what he says on board, despite the fact that he is a known charlatan, he's a known liar, and he has proven it. Despite all these things, right? People will still believe what he has to say. People will still take things on board by what Nigel Farage says. The problem is here, and this is the big problem, is that because he's not dismissing it, he's not ruling out the possibility that there may be some truth to what Donald Trump is saying. And people might look at this and think, Nigel Farage didn't disagree with the president, so maybe there's some truth to this. And here's the thing, so he doesn't believe the doctors when they tell him. So is this a case that if you ask Nigel Farage, so he wouldn't believe doctors if they told him what medical, he wouldn't believe what doctors tell him. Is that what he's going to try and tell you? Is he going to? This is the question that I would ask Reform voters to Nigel Farage. Yeah. Does he agree that we shouldn't listen to health experts, that we shouldn't listen to doctors, that we shouldn't listen to scientists, that we shouldn't listen to experts who know and study and understand about the human body better than us, because we don't study and look it. And by the way, Google doesn't always tell you everything that you need to know. So is that where we're going? It's a very dangerous path. It's very dangerous that Nigel Farage did not dismiss it, because people will take this on board. Even with the health secretary in the UK, Wes Streeting, dismissing it, even with British medical experts dismissing what Trump says, even with the Prime Minister and First Ministers of Scotland and Wales and Mayor of London and whatnot, all dismissing everything that Donald Trump is saying, the fact that you have a political leader in the UK, regardless of what you think of Nigel Farage, refusing to dismiss this means it's opening the door for potentially some people thinking, and some women thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't be taking paracetamol, or maybe there's some truth to this, when there's no evidence for it whatsoever. This is not the same as the COVID vaccine, guys. This is not the same thing. We're talking about something that has been factually, scientifically, overwhelming evidence that paracetamol is not linked to autism. Okay, there is only been one study out of millions. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. And don't take my word for it. Do the research. You literally have Google in front of you, or you can ask an AI bot. They can look it up for you. It's not that hard for you to do the research yourself. But I cannot stress this enough, yeah? You should not trust Nigel Farage, especially when he's not dismissing something that is so blatantly not true. And he's not prepared to say, and not prepared to agree with the majority of people in the world who say that Donald Trump is wrong here. He's not prepared to do that. And you should be concerned about that. You should be concerned about that, not only just for yourself, for your children as well. So Nigel Farage has refused to criticise Donald Trump's claims that paracetamol sold in the US as Tylenol could cause autism, saying science is never settled and he would never side with medical experts. The Reform UK leader said he had no idea if the US president was right to tell pregnant women to take I'm not going to say that word, guys, to take paracetamol, also known as Tylenol and paracetamol, and suggesting that those who could not tough it out should limit their intake. This is essentially Nigel sitting on the fence because he doesn't want to criticise Trump as well. Scientists and global health agencies, including the World Health Organization, have strongly dismissed Trump's false claims, calling them misguided and saying the evidence linking paracetamol's use in pregnancy and autism is inconsistent. UK Health Secretary Wes Streeting told the British public that they should not pay any attention whatsoever to what Donald Trump says about the medicine, adding, "I trust doctors over President Trump, frankly, on this." In a wide-ranging interview with LBC's Nick Ferrari, Farage was asked directly if Trump was right to share unproven claims. He said, "I have no idea. I've no idea. You know, we were told phantamine was a very safe drug, and it wasn't. Who knows, Nick? I don't know." Well, you know who does know, Nigel? Health experts, doctors. You know, maybe you should ask them instead of maybe you should ask them and get an opinion from them. Maybe you should listen to doctors, and if they say that there's no false claims for this, maybe you should, I don't know, say it and agree with doctors. But you're not doing that. You're putting people, Nigel Farage, by him not claiming it, and there's a lot of his supporters, he's putting British lives at risk by him not dismissing it. He's literally putting British lives, British public at risk, because people will follow Nigel Farage the way that Americans are following Donald Trump. That's the scary part. You should be concerned about that. He has a particular thing about autism. I think because there has been some in his family, he feels very personal, and I have no idea. You have no idea, but medical experts do. And we always should trust what medical experts do. We should always trust what doctors say, because they know better than we do. When Farage was asked if he would side with medical experts who say it is dangerous to make the link, he added, I wouldn't. When it comes to science, I don't side with anybody, right? You know, I don't side with anybody because science is never settled. We should remember that. Now, I will just point out this point here, say. Science is a continuous thing. There is always going to be new studies. There's always going to be new things, right? But in terms of the here and now, okay, the overwhelming majority of scientific evidence from doctors and experts are saying that there is no link, right? Now, if by some miracle 10, 20, 30 scientists come out of nowhere and start making the same claim that Donald Trump has been making, then maybe there should be a discussion. But the overwhelming majority in the world, yeah, not just the UK, not just US, but in the world, are saying that there is no link here. Okay? We're specifically here about paracetamol linked to autism. Okay, that's what we're specifically talking about here. Now, are there other things where sometimes medical experts don't always get studies right and they find out to be wrong, and then there's other things? Absolutely. It doesn't. Yes, they're not always right. No, I accept that. Yeah, because doctors make mistakes too. Because guess what? We're all human beings and nobody gets everything right. Yeah. But when the vast majority are saying something, it's most likely to be true. And are you really going to be in the 1 and 2% of people in the world that's saying that, despite everyone saying that there's nothing here, but you're going to believe a man who doesn't know anything about healthcare? Just Donald Trump does not. He has no degrees. He has no expertise whatsoever in health profession. He doesn't have a degree. He never went to university. He didn't study healthcare. He doesn't study medicine. What does he know about healthcare? I don't. That's why if you want experts, you listen to experts on it. Yeah. Again, like, I agree. Science is never settled. But in this particular, I agree with Nigel Farage in what he's saying that science is never settled. I agree with that. But when it comes to autism and paracetamol, unless there is substantial evidence, you shouldn't be dismissing it. Yet when challenged on whether it was irresponsible for Trump to make such an unproven claim, Farage says, that's an opinion that he's got, and it's not the one that I necessarily share. Now that's very good. Now this point I think is very good from Nigel Farage here, saying that he's not completely on board. Now this is actually very positive here. He says he's saying here it's not one I necessarily share. So this is him basically saying, I'm not in agreement with Donald Trump, but you're not. But he's also not dismissing what Donald Trump is saying as well, which is also very concerning. Farage's refusal to condemn Trump's claims comes weeks after the controversial Dr. Asim Abarua was given a top billionaire at Reform UK's party conference and used his main stage speech to claim that COVID vaccines had caused cancer in the royal family. There is no truth to this whatsoever. This was nonsense. Malhada is an advisor to Trump's health secretary Robert F. Kennedy. In an LBC interview, Farage says Trump was right to say that Sharia law is an issue in London. No, there is no Sharia law in London. This thing has not been happening. It's complete nonsense. Sadiq Khan has been mayor of London and has been elected 3 goddamn times, guys. And throughout all those London elections, no one has claimed any election interference whatsoever when it comes to London. When it comes to the London mayoral vote, he has won favourably in all these. None of the other candidates have beaten him. There has been no Sharia law. People have been able to come and go. And if you hear claims about London is unsafe or it's dangerous and whatnot, I can categorically say this is bollocks. And the reason I say that is because I have travelled in London at 11 o'clock, midnight before, and I've been totally fine. Now, does it mean that you're always safe? No, but every single city has its problems. No city is perfect. There is always going to be some level of the crime in some way, shape or form. Paris is not perfect. Brussels is not perfect. Amsterdam is not perfect. Madrid is not perfect. No city is perfect. There's always going to be some problems somewhere in cities. Yeah, there's no such thing as perfect thing here. But there's no Sharia law. It's nonsense. And to claim that London is ravaged with crime is complete nonsense as well. And if you're just sitting on the outside just reading what social media are saying, you don't know really much about London. I encourage people, come and spend some time in London. Yeah, come visit London. Come and see it for yourselves. Don't judge what people have said about London. Come to London and see it for yourself. That's the best advice I have for people. Never take what Trump says literally ever on anything, but always take something he says seriously, Farage says, adding that Trump has a point. In this case, he doesn't have a point. So he's right to say that Sharia law has an issue in London. Yes, no, it isn't. It's an overwhelming issue at this stage. No. Has the mayor of London directly linked himself to it? No. Again, Nigel Farage is making these claims, and here's the most important thing, guys. Yeah, because Nigel Farage is making this, and I know there's fan bases of him watching this as well. He has not provided any evidence whatsoever for this. Now, if you can provide me with evidence, then I'll be more than happy to read it. But you don't have any evidence, and neither does he. He's making a claim out there. He's making a claim with no evidence whatsoever to it. And this is the important thing, yeah? He's saying something, but he's not providing any evidence to it. Shouldn't you be concerned by that? Labour MPs have urged Keir Starmer to reprimand Trump's administration after the US president falsely claimed in his speech to the UN. I look at London, and when you have a terrible, terrible, terrible mayor, except he's been, again, like I said, he's been elected 3 times, and it's been changed. So much has been changed. They want to go into Sharia law. Not true. But if you're in a different country, you can't do that. Again, not true. He just doesn't like Sadiq Khan. Trump has been publicly attacking the London Mayor Sadiq Khan since 2015 when the Labour politician criticised Trump, then a presidential candidate, for suggesting that Muslims should be banned from travelling to the US. I wonder how Donald Trump would feel if Zolan Mandabi becomes the new mayor of New York City if he wins the November the New York City nominee, if he becomes mayor of New York City. I wonder how he's going to take that. Spokesperson for Khan says, we're not going to dignify his appalling and bigoted comments with a response. London is the greatest city in the world, safer than any major US city, and we're delighted to welcome the record number of US citizens moving here. During his LBC filing, Farage also said reforms plans to ban anyone who was not a UK citizen from claiming benefits would not apply to Ukrainians and Hong Kongers. That's reassuring for them. No, because they come for different reasons, Farage said, adding that those who have lived in the UK on indefinite leave and remain and had not worked or paid into the system would be told their benefits would be cut. The Royal Parks later reject Farage's claim, also made in an interview, that Eastern European migrants were taking swans and carps of ponds across the UK to eat. Spokesperson said, we've not had any incidents reported to us of people killing or eating swans in London's 8 royal parks. Our wildlife officers work closely with the Swan Sanctuary to ensure the welfare of the swans across the parks. Again, so Nigel Farage making accusations about swans, making accusations, and he has no evidence to back it up again. Like, this is the thing. You're believing Nigel Farage, what he says comes out of his mouth, and yet he provides no evidence for it. When the people who actually run the park here, those who know it better than me and you, is telling you this is not happening. But you're still going to believe the frogman regardless, some of you. Farage was asked about Trump's unfounded claims last year that Haitian immigrants in the US were eating cats and dogs, which he did not accept was unproven. Instead, he steered the conversation to discuss swans and carps allegedly being taken from UK waters. Yeah, absolute nonsense. The former UK leader said people who come from countries where it's quite acceptable to do so were taking the carp and swan. Asked if it was Eastern Europeans, he said, so I believe. But, he'll switch and change the conversation. That's what he normally does. Because remember, Nigel Farage is a grifter. And sometimes he will give you a shred of truth, but he will give you a ton of lies in doing so as well. But you should be greatly concerned, especially when Nigel Farage is not outright dismissing claims, the claims that Donald Trump is saying. You should be concerned by that. Remember, he is not a doctor. Nigel Farage is not a doctor. He's not a medical expert. He's never worked for the NHS. He has no experience in it, just like I do. Yeah, so it's not right for him or for me to tell you about any kind of paracetamol linked to autism. Yeah, you want to know for sure? Listen to the medical experts. Listen to what they say. Listen to them on YouTube channels. Interviews with the media. Take it from a variety of different doctors. Yeah, don't listen to pundits and political experts when it comes to healthcare. Listen to the experts who know it better than both me and you. So what do you guys think? What do you guys make of Nigel Farage's comments and his LBC interview? Maybe some of you watched the whole thing. Maybe some of you have a difference of opinions. Do you agree that Nigel Farage should have dismissed Donald Trump's claims about paracetamol being linked to autism, despite the fact that there is very little to no evidence whatsoever on this? Let me know your thoughts and more on this down in the comment section below. Now, if you found this video interesting and informative, please hit that like button, share this across social media, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and do check out Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.